Thank you, Presiding Officer. I'm grateful for the opportunity to participate in this debate. I'd like to begin by thanking Mark Ruskell for bringing this important issue to the Chamber, though I don't think I'll ever look at a Nando's in quite the same way again after this. It certainly does have the quality of a disaster movie, and I was particularly struck by Mr Ruskell making reference to bemused tourists. Clearly, we want to encourage as many people to come to Scotland as possible, but that's one tourist attraction we can be doing without. I would like to pick up on a couple of points that have been raised previously over the course of this debate. And I'm sure Mr Mountain will correct me if I misheard him, but I understood that he stated that all civil authorities are informed, but actually there is no, as I understand it, obligation for local authorities to be informed of nuclear transportations that are occurring. And I say that because I was in contact with Renfrewshire Council this afternoon. My constituency of Renfrewshire South does not have a nuclear convoy pass directly through it. However, as it makes its journey west towards the Erskine Bridge on the M8, it passes nearby. Now, I've certainly been in touch with, as I say, Renfrewshire Council. I want to also at this moment commend Nuke Watch on their work, though I don't think they received a response from Renfrewshire Council in their report, if I recall correctly. I'm sure Mr Ruskell will correct me if I am wrong, but having spoken to Renfrewshire Council, they have been very clear to me that they take their responsibilities as a Category 1 responder very seriously and indeed seek to work collaboratively with Category 2 responders. But I certainly think what I will take from this debate is to look to engage directly with my colleagues in the local authority to make sure that they are up to date. I think that the question that's raised from this in regards to the devolved competencies is, do we have to have a refresh and a relook and a review at existing procedures on the one hand, and also should members of the public be informed? Now, I'm of a generation that was born close towards the end of the Cold War. I did not grow up with the persistent threat of the mushroom cloud and nuclear Armageddon, though given recent political developments over the past few months, perhaps my generation will experience that threat. But certainly, there was a piece of language that Mark Ruskell used, civil defence, and we obviously use civil contingencies now. But the idea of civil defence and being aware of the risk of nuclear war and what to do in these particular situations was something I was second nature to my parents' generation, but not to mine. And I think with that there has been perhaps a commensurate decrease in awareness of the risks posed by nuclear weapons being housed in Scotland. So I think what potentially steps going forward, I'll be interested to hear what the Minister has to say in responding, as if there is a need to look and refresh civil contingency measures, certainly even just to increase awareness amongst parliamentarians, amongst members of local authorities, a point that Mr Corrie raised, which I think was very valid. Certainly, many of the councillors in my authority are probably closer to my age and might not have the same recollection of that particular threats of a bygone age. But I would be very keen just to hear what the Minister has to say as regards to if there is a need for a refresh, if it is actually just a question of making people more aware, but without necessarily being alarmist. I think just in concluding as regards to my own constituency, there are specific concerns because clearly we have Glasgow Airport on the doorstep in Renfrewshire. And clearly any event that were to occur, which were to result in extended periods of closures of the M8 or surrounding roads, could have a massive disruption. So I would be quite keen to hear what the Minister has to say in response to these concerns and what action, if any, the Government seeks to take. Thank you.